Jose Mourinho is finished. Harry Kane, get yourself out of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. They're going backwards at a rate of knots. There is absolutely no chance of top four this season. There is no chance of top four next season. You, Harry Kane, are never going to win a trophy. And do you know what? You may have wasted your career if you stayed there. If Poch stayed there for the next 10 years and you stayed there with him, I think you'd have wasted your career. But at least you would have broken some goal scoring records, banging in 25 to 40 goals per season. The creativity was there. It was exciting football for the majority. But right now, Tottenham look devoid of ideas. They won, by the way, tonight. They won, but only because Everton are absolutely dead. Everton are awful. That is the only reason. The only reason that tonight Tottenham walk away with all 3 points. But the performance is absolutely dreadful. And I care about Harry Kane because he's England's best striker. I care about my national football. But that is poor. And do you know the most embarrassing point for Tottenham fans with this? Is you had a period of time. You had a period of time where you were better than Arsenal. And you had a foundation and a base to continue to grow from, to be better than your main rivals, Arsenal. They're now better than you. And that's saying a lot. And they look like they might be going places. You know, Upamecano coming in this summer, Partey coming in, Saliba, Tottenham. It is absolutely putrid football with a manager past his prime, using boring tactics, damaging your best players fighting each other at halftime, nobody really wanting to join, one of the best young talents in Ndombele not involved, another great talent in Ryan Sessegnon not played enough, Bergwijn already feeling it, and Harry Kane sitting up top with zero service. Zero service. Jose Mourinho, you are finished. Daniel Levy, if you have got a brain, sack him. You're going nowhere. You're winning nothing. You've gone backwards. The plan of action, this beautiful house you are building for the past 5 years, you have wrecked it. You have wrecked it, Daniel Levy, with your appointment of Jose Mourinho. Finished. It's absolutely finished, bruv. It's finished. And Jose Mourinho, by the way, he is just the icing on top of the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. Finished. Harry Kane, get out. Leave. Transfer request. Move on. You're getting towards your late 20s. You ain't got time to be sitting around waiting for a rebuild. Go win your trophies. Go win your titles. Go deliver what a player of your caliber deserves. Tottenham are done, dead, finished. And do you know what? Your best era in 4 decades, bruv. Do you know what? EastEnders. EastEnders didn't exist the last time Tottenham were as good as they were under Poch. They didn't win a trophy. And they've already been leapfrogged again by their local rivals, Arsenal. Dead. Their greatest striker in Premier League history is going to leave. And now they've got Jose, a complete and utter has-been, compounding them into the ground. And they've got a new stadium as well. It's peak, honestly. Honestly. With Jose at the helm running your club with your brand new stadium, it's like a 62-year-old woman wearing a miniskirt and a boob tube on a night out. Do you get what I mean? It's like my dad dressing like Justin Bieber. It's embarrassing, Tottenham. Embarrassing. You should be ashamed of your club right now. You really, really should. And I'm not even throwing this out to be salty. I am being serious when I say this. Jerome here, Tottenham fan, long-time viewer of the show, says most boring football game ever. I'm so sick of this kind of football going backwards. Bro, and do you know why I'm angry? Because what's Daniel Levy thinking? What didn't he see at Tottenham? At Chelsea towards the end, at United, especially the last 18 months, and then what in his wisdom possessed him to think, I know what I'll do. I'll bring that same toxic man in who's finished to ruin my club further. I'll go from Poch. I won't call Poch a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but he's definitely a nice car. He's a what kind of car? He's like a BMW 5 Series, really good. And instead of going for something better than that, guy's gone for a Ford Mondeo. A 10-year-old Ford Mondeo. Okay car. You ain't going to win no races in it, bruv. It's a madness. Madness. Another super chat here from Jordan, who says the only reason Spurs won't win one tonight was because Everton were so pathetic. Worst game of football I've ever seen. Shame on Everton for losing that. Listen, Everton were awful. And do you know what's mad? I was watching Ancelotti's team. I was watching it tonight, and do you know what I was thinking? I was looking at it thinking, I watched a film a few years ago called Grudge Match that was Stallone and De Niro, where they played two old boxers that came back together to have a final fight. It reminded me of that. It was like two old, past it men having a boxing fight. Dead football. And I mean this because I care about Harry Kane. Leave. I doubt you'll ever see this, Harry. I doubt you'll see it. I don't tag footballers in my videos or anything. Leave, bruv. Leave. You cannot finish your career here with the direction Tottenham are going in, bruv. It's a madness. It's a madness. It really is. Terry seems triggered that Jose... I ain't triggered Jose won. That's nothing to do with it, bruv. It's finished. We're going to get some callers on the line now. Link is in the description below if you want to phone up, if you want to come on and have your say. We're going to... Elite Opinions, Tottenham fan. What you saying, bro?
Terry, am I allowed to curse on here?
No.
Yeah, I was about to say some disgusting things about some of these players.
Say it without swearing.
Some of these, I mean, I don't know where to start. I'll be honest. I missed. It's got to the point now where I purposely do something just to miss a couple minutes of the game because it's that boring. I'm looking at the team. I'm thinking to myself, this team 5 years ago, not even 4 years ago, were challenging for a league. How have we got to this point where a club like Everton are coming away from stadium losing and thinking they should have won? I mean, what is going on here? I mean, players like Dyer it just gets on my nerve. And Lloris, the guy produces nothing. Time on time again. That guy is just a liability. I hate him with my guts. And then Son, this guy, I don't know if he's got too big for his boots the last couple of years, but he's felt he's felt like he's part of a hierarchy to be talking to his captain like that. I don't know what he's done in the middle of the pitch to be inciting a reaction from Lloris like that, but it's disgusting. That team from defensive to strike force is absolutely disgusting. Harry Kane, I'm sorry, you were absolutely poor. The only person in that team that was worth even a redemption in that team at all was Lo Celso. I'm sorry, the only person who never he can't even hold his head up high. He could just say to himself, "I produce something." That entire team stinks. And Mourinho, get out my club. Mourinho, get out my club. I gave you chance after chance after chance. I've seen you lose. I've seen these kind of games where you're known for defending against top 16. You've lost to 99% of top 6 teams you've faced. You've lost to Chelsea. You've lost to United. You've lost to Liverpool. What do you do here if you can't produce anything you're meant to produce for? I mean, our own stadium, we've held slappings again and again and again. Well, what? Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired of this. I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
Listen, Elite Opinions, thank you for coming on. I appreciate everything that you're saying, mate. I really do. I think Elite Opinions is right there. Jose's one of the biggest problems, but Levy is the club. They appointed him. And that's the big mistake that they have made. That football tonight was dire. Super chat here says, after Jose beat Olympiacos in November, your video was titled, Jose is a genius. Make up your mind. Yeah, I admit to my mistakes. I admit to things that I get wrong. And when he first went into Tottenham, I was fearful. I was fearful when he first went into Tottenham because I thought to myself, oh, we might have made a mistake. We might have made a mistake. What if you go to Tottenham and does a madness? And his first few games, I thought, oh, no. And it was only a handful. It was literally a handful of games. You had the West Ham game, which finished, I think it was 3-2. And then after that, there was another game. I'm actually looking at it again now. So the game that finished 3-2. Then there was the Olympiacos game. And I thought, oh, well, Harry Kane, 3 goals in 2 games, they're going to bounce back. And then it was within 2 or 3 games of that. And I started to feel relaxed. And ever since then, it hasn't got better. And that isn't the problem. I said back then, go watch the videos. There's going to be bad results, but this is not going to be Jose's team. But what Jose started doing is getting angry, moaning, crying, bitching about his team before he's even had a chance to build his own team. And as soon as I saw that, that changed my opinion. And that's how life works. I appreciate the super chat, bro, but that's how life works. I can believe something today. You show me proof of something else, I can change my mind. You know, I'm not a big believer in God. But, you know, if God came out of the sky, picked me up, flew me around Earth like the snowman did in that film and, you know, proved to me he existed, you know, shot a lightning bolt up someone I don't like's ass, then maybe I'll start believing in God. Do you know what I mean? If Jesus walked in and grabbed my glass of water and turned it into a glass of wine, I'd start believing in Jesus. But for me, I believed in Jose, and then I saw the old habits dying hard, and he's finished. So my opinion did change. Only weak people fail to change their opinions when evidence is slapping them in the face. Jerome here says, Terry, I would rather be relegated. Jeez, then watch a rebuild watching this pile of crap. That is a big statement. Another super chat here says, Terry, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I know what situation they're in because we were in it years ago. They need to do their research if they are ever going to recover. I couldn't agree with you more. And the due diligence on bringing in Jose is wrong. And again, we as fans don't have the access that they do. Jerome here again says, Champions League finalist, the bottom feeding team. Just infuriating to watch, pile of rubbish. Jerome is absolutely fuming. Let's jump into a few more calls on here. We're going to throw into the mix. Who are we going to throw in here? We're going to throw in Prime. Prime's in the house. What's going on, bro?
Okay, I'm someone who loves Jose, and I try and defend him, but he's past it. There's nothing I can really say, is there? Like, I know I'm a Chelsea fan and he's at Spurs, but there's nothing you can really say. He is past it. But also, there's a point of this Spurs team is actually quite bad. Like, people also have to take that into consideration as well. It's actually really terrible for his style of football that he is known for playing.
But I get that, and I echo that, because some of these players were down in tools for Poch. Some of these players weren't good enough for Poch. This is where Jose's gone, though. When Klopp took over Liverpool, for 2-3 years, it wasn't his team. They were throwing games away, throwing results away. That man, love him or hate him, kept a stern face, didn't really attack his players in public, told everybody it was part of the master plan, told everyone to relax, told everyone it was fine, until he built his own team and then they came good. Ollie at Man United, he had genuine viruses in the squad, players that didn't want to be here, people down in tools, people, you know, the Lukakus of this world, the Sanchez's of this world that didn't want to be there, that were causing problems. And instead of him moaning about them, now he addressed it like some of these players are not going to be successful at the club, and I am, but he never directed it at anybody. He never sat there bitching lots in the press. He kept his counsel, and now suddenly his team are coming good. That's how I know Jose's got no reason really to be angry right now, because this ain't his team. If Jose was sitting there and just keeping cool, saying, look, you know we need to buy some players in the summer. I believe in a lot of the players that are here. If Jose was saying that, no one would be having a go at him because he came in mid-season. But yet he's losing his mind already. That for me, if I'm a Tottenham fan, that's the fear factor. That Jose has no reason to be angry at this point, but he is. And it's the same angle we saw at the end of his Chelsea reign, his end of his Madrid reign, and halfway through his Man United reign. And this ain't even his team. That's how I know he's done. He doesn't have the mental strength. And I'm talking, look, in life, of course, he's fine. I'm talking the mental strength to cope with the strain of managing an elite level Premier League club. I think he's done mentally, bruv. I really do.
Yeah, but you also, I agree, publicly calling out players probably isn't the best thing to do in modern day football. But when you look at the fact that he calls out and he criticizes Ndombele for not being fit enough, is that not fair? It's not a true statement for him to make, that he's not fit enough.
It is a true statement. And a lot of the things Jose has said before, well, barring the Paul Pogba being a virus thing, we now kind of know that isn't true. However, in that environment, that's what Jose could have fit. You know, people in the modern day world, it's all my truth versus your truth. That's Jose's opinion. The problem is, whether we like it or not, reputations precede you. And perceptions, although they may not be reality, they can act as it. And the way he's treating Ndombele, it might. The way I look at Jose is, what I believe with Jose is this: if Jose gave Ndombele every opportunity behind the scenes without publicly shaming him before going public with his rants, I think it'd be okay. You know, if Klopp came out next week and slagged the player off publicly, no one would bat an eyelid because he rarely does it. That would tell you that player must have been misbehaving. Jose, for me, does it with such regularity. It's unbelievable. But at the end of the day, I think he's absolutely past his best, as I say. I can't see any way back for Tottenham with this guy here.
Also, one more thing. I think with Poch and with Levy and everything, I think the reason mainly why they brought him in is because remember during that period, both Spurs and Arsenal were both terrible, and it was looking that one of Emery or Poch would get sacked, and Mourinho was being linked to both clubs. I think what Levy did is he jumped the gun, sacking Poch and giving it to bringing in Mourinho because he thought that Mourinho would go to Arsenal and that would give them that boost and bring them back up again.
Mate, I agree. He did. He's made an absolute brain fart. Prime, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Thank you. Jordan here with a super chat again. Thank you for the donation to the channel. It means a lot. It says here, Jose was brought in to Spurs to win things and got knocked out of the FA Cup at home to Norwich. What more proof do you need that Jose is finished? We also have another one here saying Jose got second place at United until Ollie gets that. Be quiet, you deluded United fans. Do you know what? In terms of league positions, I get where you're coming from. But Jose has never had the two good runs of form that Ollie's had at the club. One of them was more bounce than it is now. Jose never had that with the football looking so brilliant and the football looking so good. So you can say what you want. And again, I appreciate the super chats. We respect everybody's super chats here. But for me, it isn't about whether Ollie is good enough or not. It isn't about comparing Ollie to Jose. It's about the trajectory of your football club. Ollie will leave Man United in a position where it can be built upon for future success. Jose crumbles things. Ollie is building things. And I think there's a fundamental difference between those two. I really, really do. Another super chat here. This is from Taron Brown, who says Klopp makes a point of never attacking players. That's why we love him. It's hard to rule by love. Mourinho isn't that sort of guy. He used to be, though, Jose. Everyone loved him, but he's gone. He is, I think he's mentally scarred after what happened to him at Real Madrid, and it's just progressively got worse. He's a bit like an insecure boyfriend. You know, he had a girl that cheated on him once, but then he didn't get over that emotional heartbreak. And every time he gets into a new relationship, he's paranoid, insecure, checking the phone, where you going, sneaking up on her, turning up when she's out with her friends. That's Jose. He's paranoid, bruv. Gone. He's gone. You can't be like that when it comes to the elite level of the game. You just simply can't do it at all. You can't do it. You can't get away with it. Beats another super. Terry, talk about how bad Everton was. Leave Jose. Everton are on a top 6 team, so they don't get the focus here. We focus on the top 6. Everton are awful. I've already mentioned it already in the stream. Everton look dire. And by the way, there doesn't need to be more attention from the media. They have dropped bills, bruv. They have spent hella money. In recent years. They truly have. Jerome here says, if Jose stays, we are finished as a club. All those delusional Spurs fans that are saying let him have a transfer window are fools. The guy only knows one thing: score one and park the bus. This is not Spurs. Get out. Spurs fan Jerome, they're talking. That's how you know Jerome means it. Man dropped $20 to say that. $20 to say his piece. Jose's done. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. We're going to jump into a few more calls here. First up, we're going to have Samuel AFC. He's an Arsenal fan. I bet you're loving this, aren't you, mate?
Oh, I'm enjoying this, man. This is... I've never thought Tottenham in the past couple years be this low. Jose is finished. Football has evolved, and Jose has not. Terry, if I put up your fan cams from the 17-18 season, 18-19, and put you in a Tottenham shirt, it's the exact same. This guy is beyond finished, and the football. I know they won, but this is Tottenham, right? He can't. the mentality of the players cannot be switched. It's instilled in the club. Jose he's lost for words. I'm lost for words on this guy. He's just finished. He's horrible. I'm
Yeah.
so glad we didn't get him. He's just he's a Portuguese Unai Emery. That's what he is now. That's what he is. I'm so glad we got Arteta because look at football now. It's moved on from people like Jose's. It's evolves. Football, you have to adapt.
Well, do you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with the tactics. There's nothing wrong with being a pragmatic manager. But to make it work, your players have to buy into you 100%. Look at how Atletico play. Look how they play. If you brought Diego Simeone into this Tottenham team, they'd perform because he would get the players on side. He would make them work hard. He would make them want to run. Because to play Jose's system, the way it works is that everybody has a position, an area, basically a zonal area on the pitch that they have to mark defensively. And if you're chasing a player and you go into somebody else's territory, somebody has to backfill you, as an example. If somebody leaves a player and they enter your space, you have to go after them. It's technical, but you have to work very hard. And to work hard defensively, I think you have to be bought into the idea. What I see when I watch Tottenham is only 80% of the players that are bought into the idea. And even them, as soon as a goal goes in, their heads go down. Jose looks disenfranchised. And yeah, they pick up the victory today and it'll be sunshine and rainbows. But the football is absolutely gone. Bro, thank you for coming on and having your say. Really do appreciate it. Chat to you soon. Next up, we've got Elite KJ in the house. What's going on, bro? Ram's also here. Bro,
it's peak, bro. It's peak. I said this yesterday when we was talking to Fuad, and I said it today off stream to Elite Opinions. It's done. It's done. It's just, it is what it is. Like, he is finished. He's not able to keep up with the modern day game. Like, he's trying to play a style that, for me, just like, you're not doing it right. Sean Dyche does that style better than him. Chris Wilder does that style better than him. You know why? Because they get players on side and believe in what he's doing. Jose can't do that. And you've got young, talented ballers like Ndombele, like Sessegnon, like Bergwijn. You've got established ballers like Son, like Kane, wasting away. Jose, free the man them, yeah? Please, free them. Levy, free the man them. Let them go, man, because they actually deserve to play good football with the talent they've got. Jose is going to set you, man, back 15 years backwards, fam. He's going to go a bit 15 years backwards. And the Spurs fans are saying, oh, give him a window to get his team. Your team would look like an OAP home. Like, you'll be linked to ballers like Perisic and Willian and probably Jerome Boateng. Like, these are the guys you'll be linked with. And Fellaini, bruv.
Bruv, honestly, Chris Smalling's coming back to England, Tottenham. It would just, honestly, like, I defended Jose when he was United manager. I thought he might get it right. And then I was wrong. And I come to the realization, I thought it was finished. And then when he left, I had that little moment when he first went to Tottenham where I thought, oh, no. A bit like Chelsea fans when he went to United. Is he going to go there and do what he couldn't do for us? First couple of games, I thought, maybe it was this relationship with United. And then 2 or 3 games in, I just started seeing the moaning, the whinging, the bitching, the crying, the boo-hooing. And I just thought to myself, man's dead. Ram, what you say?
Oh, go on, man.
I have to echo what KJ says, man. He hit the nail right in the head, man. These players are seasoned players, incredible players. Like, these are players that can play ball. They can do some serious stuff with the ball, like Son, Bergwijn, Kane. And I don't understand why Tottenham fans want to keep this manager. He's had this situation at Manchester United. The longer he stays, the worse it will get for Tottenham Hotspur. You need a manager. You always pride yourself on champagne football. You like to play beautiful football. But this manager doesn't play beautiful football. If you want a manager that plays beautiful football, get Erik ten Hag from Ajax. He plays football. He plays ball.
Yeah, and this ain't champagne football now. This is like Iron Brew football. That's it.
Not even Iron Brew. Iron Brew tastes nice. It's like that dead ginger beer or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Dandelion and Burdock or something. Do you know what I mean? They drink eyes. You know, like if you were dying of thirst and you saw it in a fridge, you'd die first. Like, no. It's so bad. It's so bad. And the thing is, I don't know, some Tottenham fans seem so submissive to it. Like they're just going to accept it as read. We're going to add Cameron to the line. Cam, bruv. What do you make of that, bro? I mean, I want to ask you as a United fan, did it give you, like me, horrible flashbacks to see
PTSD, bro.
Yo, 1-0 FC. I hope Spurs is ready for that because the problem with Jose, and you see it, it's ugly, scrappy goals. Like that goal is not nice. You have people, and I'm gonna kind of keep it away from all of it, but people talking about what's his style. He just lets his players go and freestyle. Well, Jose doesn't let his creative players do anything. It's like stringent, pass back, pass forward, like all you can tell. And I'm sitting here watching it, and I feel pain for these Spurs fans because my boys who are Spurs fans were like, "Why isn't Bergwijn starting? Why isn't Ndombele starting?" I'm like, guys, this is Jose. He will inexplicably drop the best, most informed creative players, of course, out of nowhere. Remember, Pogba was sitting for Lindelof or whatever, or he'll bring in Fellaini and sit Martial. He's going to do the same thing with the Spurs. He's going to bring in guys like sit Bergwijn, and then he'll be playing like Davies on the right wing and talking about tactics. And it makes no sense in today's world.
It's true, and he did it at Man United, and I think you know, when he did the whole thing of like he had centre backs available, but he was playing Scott McTominay there, who, by the way, isn't. I know Ollie dropped him back there for 10 minutes in a game the other day, but this just went before Scotty. Scotty had about 5 games under his belt. Man had to play centre back, and he did it. He just did things out of petulance.
He did it with Herrera play at centre.
We all hear people need to give Ollie and Lampard some respect. They are building futures for their clubs, whilst Jose is tarnishing Tottenham's future. And Jose, but I'm not where I don't blame Jose. I'm going to stay consistent. Is I'm looking at owners again here. I'm looking at this.
Daniel Levy's fault,
bro. I'm telling you now. We only know, even the media only get given about 10 to 15% of what actually happens in football. How we know that's true is every time someone's autobiography comes out, or we see them on podcasts when they're retired, look at the mad stories that come out that we never heard about. Which shows you that most things don't get delivered to the public, right? Internally in football, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Daniel Levy has connections. To not do your due, for me, if I was going to employ Jose Mourinho, I would want a full psychological evaluation done. I want a doctor to look at his brain. And I'm not saying outside, again, how you are at work and how you are in your personal life are two different things. I'm not saying Jose Mourinho has got mental illness. I'm not saying he's unstable. I'm saying in the work environment, and this happens to people at let me just say this now. I don't know if anyone watching that ever had. I'm talking about the top end of employment in this world, the top 2-3% jobs that are exceedingly high pressured. I'm not talking about even being a managing director of a business somewhere where no one knows your name. I'm talking about jobs where everyone in the country knows who you are, where every move is scrutinized by the media. There's very few jobs like it. You need to be of sound mind to do that when the going gets tough. And for me, he isn't. As soon as the pressure is on, as soon as it goes on top now for Jose Mourinho, he crumbles like a wet, soggy biscuit in a cup of tea. And I'm sorry if the Canadians watching don't get the reference. You don't if you dunk biscuits in tea over there, but we do it here. That's Jose at the elite level of business now. He's weak. He's gone. He is like a rich tea biscuit. God, what you need a hobnob, bruv. Hobnob don't break.
You know what it is as well. He's the way Jose works is the trilogy, isn't it? You've got the okay start, the glorious second season, and then boom, the final third, the demise. It's like they ran out of budget and made one film, and it's just crap, fam. That's what it is. Like it's not even like any time to spread out. It's just bad. And Levy, how are you going to be spending money on a stadium when your team is washed?
Terry.
What's the point?
Super chat to do here. First of all, Jordan says, remember when Jose was saying, wait till they get Kane and Son back? Both are now back and they are playing no better than before lockdown. And that's a great point because when we played Tottenham a few weeks ago, do you remember I was sitting on here doing fan cams and I'm like, boys, I said it'd take 3 or 4 games for us to find our feet. But we outplayed Tottenham big time. And everyone was like, oh, they got Son back, they got Kane back. Nothing. Dead. Great point, Jordan. Another super chat here from Jerome. He says, champagne football. This is cat piss football. That own goal was a gift. Nothing else would have come of tonight.
And you have to question, Everton were shocking today. Like the last Gary Neville said it perfectly. They didn't try, man. Like Yerry Mina, one of the tallest players in the whole pitch, went up front for the last 2 minutes. And then Jordan Pickford can't even pick him out, even though we say that he's a very good distribution.
That's the myth. No, that's the myth. The distribution team is a myth.
Matthew De Souza here says Jose needs a leader for Spurs. He hasn't had one since Zlatan at United. If he gets one, it could work.
Hugo Lloris, Harry Kane, He's got captains on that squad. We were just talking about that earlier.
French
The
World
man's got captain.
Yeah.
Lloris is the World Cup winning captain.
World Cup winning captain. Harry Kane is the captain of the England squad. Son, I'm sure, is the captain of
Jan
this
Vertonghen,
squad.
Jan
This
Vertonghen,
man's
Toby
captain.
Alderweireld.
You got Vertonghen out. You've got multiple captains on the
A
squad.
year behind AFC. A year. They're now 3, 4, 5 years behind.
Terry, I'll put this out there, yeah. So Tottenham Hotspur is like you have a film. You have the film. You got all the actors. You got Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, everyone there. But you end up getting some crap director from across the street. It's literally what Tottenham Hotspur are. They got all the utensils for a great team. But they don't have a good manager that actually fits their style.
But worse than that, the owner, Levy,
The
owners were the
always key decision makers in business are the ones, bruv. And he's a key decision maker when it comes to that. You even look at the Vertonghen. Someone says Vertonghen's not captain. Don't matter. He's a leader. Look at the Vertonghen and Toby situation. They're better than Dyer at centre back even now. But why are they not playing? Because they want to leave. How have the club allowed their contracts to get into this situation without letting them go? Because bad management. And when you look at Arsenal's demise, United's demise in recent times, so much of it then and so much of it now with some of the things going on was due to bad management, selling the wrong players, buying the wrong players, employing the wrong managers, not doing the due diligence, not building a foundation, losing your culture. Your culture in every walk of life is imperative for you feeling at ease, feeling at one with yourself. It's the truth. And as soon as you disrupt that and it's gone, it creates a problem. It creates a problem that needs to be fixed, So, it feels like with Tottenham right now. I know I love an analogy. Your mum and dad break up. New man moves in. Now, I didn't experience this because my parents broke up when I'd moved out. But new man walks in and he brings new rules. And he upsets the ecosystem and culture of your house. Suddenly, it's like where you eat your dinners on a Friday has changed. What you do on Tuesday evenings has changed. I like to do this on a Sunday. Not anymore. I'm now your dad. That's what Jose's done. He's gone in and and that's it. You're not my dad. That's what's happening. The players are you're not my dad. That's all that's happening here. It's done. Culture is key because a bad culture will eat the best strategy for breakfast every day of the week. Take that to work as well. You get the best manager, best strategy. The culture of your business is bad. You fail. Time.
Terry, the Tottenham's identity is there in plain sight, but the owners brought in someone else who has a different philosophy. Like
dumb.
I don't understand.
Guys, Chloe Jenkins here. So it comes in a sec, Cam. Chloe Jenkins says Jose is too pig-headed to hold his hand up and admit he is wrong. Instead, he blames very good players to take the heat off himself. Chloe, round of applause for that. Bang on. Sorry, Cam, you're going to say something, bro.
Exactly what you were saying there, Ram, where you're saying they had an identity. They brought him in. Like, let's be honest. Man United did the exact same. We brought him in because he's a serial winner. And that's what Levy and them they're hungry for. They're like, we need a trophy. Poch wasn't able to bring it to us. Jose's speech was like, I'll win by any means necessary. Once you find out what that actually means, it's almost like it's like making a bet with a friend saying, you know what, I'll do anything to get that car. And then somebody's like, oh yeah, anything? And the anything turns out to be something you're like, oh, I didn't think you would take it there. And that's exactly what's happening with Spurs. It happened to us. To win by any means necessary with Jose means you got to deal with what we're seeing now. In toxic environment, calling out players. How long has it been since Harry Kane has gone this many games without multiple goals? It's like you are ruining one of the best strikers in the world. And this is just a normal thing with him.
And on Harry Kane, I got tweeted about this. I went, well, he scored 9 goals in 13 games for Jose. And I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe, right?
Watch a system.
He got three of those goals came in those opening 2 games where they actually looked a little bit decent, right? He then got a brace, right? So actually for Jose, he scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just 7 goals before lockdown, right? He then got a brace against Burnley. He scored 1 against Brighton. He scored 1 against Norwich in a 2-2 draw. And then, yes, he got injured. And he's come back, scored a last-minute goal against West Ham after not getting a sniffle game. And then he scored a consolation goal. He is not – Harry Kane now, because they're not creating the chances, he's not getting as many openers. He's not getting as many winners in games. They've had a handful of good performances, and it's getting worse.
And that's because and that's because Jose is an enemy of football. That's it. He just hates football now. He's coming like the Emperor from Star Wars and just hates everything and trying to just take everyone out. He's a criminal. And or was it? Fuad says something like, Fuad says like, "Oh, we treat Jose like a criminal," and I said he is, because he is. He's an enemy of football, man. He's a criminal. He's a fraud.
Ghostwriter here says stubbornness in football is a killer. AFC are 1 year ahead of Spurs based on changing things this year quicker than they changed for the better. And I'm an Arsenal fan. And look, whatever, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. The point is, the reason I think it's more than a year is I can't see them sacking Jose this summer. And this is the biggest problem. I keep talking about form, right? So I was chatting to a guy today, a journalist at The Athletic. Hopefully going to be coming on the show soon. There's a lot of talk that the new season is going to start early September. Meaning, when this season ends, there's going to be 5 to 6 weeks to rest and then retrain again and come back. That isn't like a nice 2-3 month break to get over the failings of the previous season. That's why if you end this season badly, the likelihood of having a carryover to the next year is huge. So I sit there and think to myself, hang on. It's like, hang on a minute. Hang on. Jose can end up in a situation where his team are failing. They have a 5-6 week window to address this in the transfer market, and then come back and suddenly and if you start badly, you're finished again. It's a madness. Jerome back again. He says 20 years with this board, and all we have to show for it is 1 League Cup. Poch gave us hope, but again, no backing, then gets replaced by a washout. Jokes. Mate, no one's going to disagree. And that's the sad bit. If you're I look at my dad here. My dad, like, he's 65 years old, right? And he's at a point where he's he loves Spurs, but he doesn't allow himself to get emotionally invested anymore just because, life is what it is. It's age. I think you mellow as you get older. But I look at him and I thought there was a little while, I was quite emotional when they had that comeback in the semi-final, because I'd have loved my dad to have seen Tottenham again win something major. He only saw it when he was a kid. That's a man. And my dad was a kid when they were winning big things. And now my dad's 65 years old. And I thought they were on their way back. And they absolutely did Poch dirty. They did Poch dirty. And it's fallen apart. And it isn't coming back from him. It's absolutely done. It's finished. It's over. And then they've got, how many more? I know they've got to play. I was just checking here when it comes to Tottenham. They've got.
They've just got the league and that's it. Yeah,
but I mean, games yesterday, play Bournemouth. This is what's peak for them, right? Bournemouth fighting for their lives, right? They play next away on the 9th, which is on Thursday, right? Is that Thursday? Yeah. And then on the 12th, they play on the Sunday. They play Arsenal. They are going to get battered in both them games.
Nah. Watch the Arsenal game. Jose will pull out his ass as he normally does. He'll do something,
always against
and he'll get that 1-0 win or something like. And it's a derby as well, so form goes out the window. So, but Jose, you know what? How are we fans of other teams and we're annoyed about the football? This is how bad it's got. We should really be reveling in the fact that Tottenham are going down the toilet, but we're not, because we saw a team that was actually going places and had a future, and now it's seeing go downwards.
It's bringing back memories, like Vietnam flashbacks, bruv. It's giving
PTSD, man.
I actually felt I was watching it, and it was making my palms itch. I'm like, you know what? I remember the pain of this, and I got to speak out against it. And I am annoyed with Jose, but I'm more annoyed at Daniel Levy. In the same way as I looked at Woodward, due diligence is key when you're onboarding somebody. When you're employing somebody. Do your due diligence. When you have the insight and the resource that these football clubs have, you can find out everything. There are tests that you can do on people, and you get these to find out somebody's natural sort of position from a professional standpoint, where you come out, there's 4 colors of blue, green, yellow, red. Red means you're quite assertive. Like sales people tend to be red. Blue, I think blue means you're quite empathetic. Green is you're a bit of a thinker and a planner. And then like yellow is you're more of you're a great, you've got a great kind of creative mind, but you never quite finish and get the job done. And you can do these simple tests that tell you your mainstay character. And when you read the characteristics, most people go, oh, that's me. But then there's a secondary test that they do for you. When you under pressure, what direction do you go in, right? Jose, he's red anyway. I guarantee if you did it on Jose, he goes to extreme red under pressure, where he just becomes overly assertive and aggressive. And what you actually need from a manager in the modern day game, when things will get a bit on top, is somebody that becomes either more pragmatic and more methodical, thinks before he speaks and sits back, or you need somebody that becomes more empathetic and can be almost give people that shoulder to cry on. It doesn't have it anymore, and it's a toxic environment. And it's Daniel Levy's job to find those things out about Jose before they employ him, because it was crumbling on the Poch, but it was repairable. If they brought in a top-level, creative, young, fresh, dynamic manager, Tottenham would be balling this season. They've still got ballers there, but now
they should have been targeting Nagelsmann or somebody like that.
Me and Kate talking about Ten Hag as well. Like,
Yeah.
They should be talking about those guys.
Tottenham.
It's sad to see, like you're saying, like we should be happy about this, but you know, it was nice to see Spurs become a top 6 team, because that wasn't always the case. So like there was a time where I would take Everton over Tottenham multiple times. I'd be like, if it was Everton versus Tottenham, I'm probably taking Everton. So it's sad to see players like Son, players like Kane, somebody like Sessegnon, who went there as a young player, and that was supposed to be where he was going to turn into the next Gareth Bale. Kind of crazy, but regardless, that was what people were talking about. Left back, turn winger, XYZ. And now you see there's going to be no growth. So as a Spurs fan, you're sitting there and you're watching it, and you're like, none of these players on our squad are going to get better. Like they're not only they're going to plateau, they're going to get worse. Some of these guys, like a Bergwijn is working, but these guys are going to stagnate.
I remember
just get older.
I remember them saying, "Oh, this is where Dele Alli is now going to hit his form. Someone like Jose will make him become
He'll
good
be
again."
like Frank Lampard.
What going on with him?
Dele had the first couple of games, he looked good again, and then it fell away. And why did it fall away? It fell away because for me, Jose started almost instantly. 4 or 5 games in, you started seeing the grumpy old man. It's like, oh, he can't. You know, that old guy sitting on his porch at the front of his house shouting at all the kids. Like, mate, they're just having fun. Yeah.
I don't know their theory. Was Jose not playing pot ball when he got there? You can't come in right away and change the whole system, right? So that's what people were saying about Ollie. They're like, well, realistically, Ollie's still playing the same kind of setup as Jose, which he was. The difference was he was letting his attacking players express themselves. Because, you know, in that time, you don't have time to actually allow like your system to come in. You could tell very quickly when Jose's system started to be part of the team and it wasn't Poch anymore. It was like instant. You're like, oh, okay, now Mandem following Jose's lead. That's now you can tell. And I think that's what we're not looking at. You're talking about how it was so nice.
So unknown driller here says, Terry, I'm a Spurs fan who wants to win trophies. I don't care if we play boring. Everton were unbeaten since the restart. We defended well. You just dislike Jose.
No, bro. This is how he gets you at the start. This is how he gets you at the start. This promise of trophies and doesn't matter how bad we'll play, we'll get there. How boring we'll get there. You ain't getting there. You guys are just about winning games against Everton. And you're telling me that you're going to beat the big teams.
Jerome came here and says, once again, I'd rather be relegated with Poch than stay in the Premier League with Jose. That's a
principle
level.
Man of principle. I like him.
Damning statement. It says Dele Alli has been poor for 2 years. Now you can't blame Jose, Terry. Ask any Spurs fan. You guys need to educate yourself on Spurs. I'm not blaming Jose for Dele Alli not be bad. That wasn't the point. The point that Cameron made is that Jose was going to revitalize Dele. Jose would get him on point, would make him the guy.
He'll make him like Lampard.
Yeah.
Go-to guy. That's what they said. And in the first couple of games back, I saw a little bounce. And where's it gone? Nowhere. Like Jose Mourinho of 10 years ago, they may not be playing beautiful football, but he would have got this Tottenham team doing something. They're not now. And trust me, bro, I was deluded. Jose Mourinho had me... I think I want to say Twitter painted. That's the word I think. I heard it in Bambi once. He had me Twitter painted. Is that? I actually want to check this. That's how you say it, right? Sorry to be Twitter painted. Is that what it is from Bambi? Yeah, Twitter painted. It means it does mean something. I saw it in heard it on Bambi once. No, it doesn't mean that. Does it really mean that? I thought it just meant when you were like, hang on, I want to read it here. I need to work it out. It means basically romantic. It means romantically excited, like aroused. Jose had me that way. That's what it means, right? No, I did. So as you like, kind of, you see it and you feel all giddy, like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. Like Jose made me feel like we're going to win leagues, we're going to win Champions Leagues. It's going to be peak. We're back. Yeah. And I defended him, and I made myself blind to what I wanted. If that made sense, I fell in love with the idea of Jose. the Inter manager, and it won't happen, bro. He's done. Don't
When you
fall
talk about a club's ethos, yeah, I get why you were happy that Jose came because he had a similar thing with Alex Ferguson. He wins trophies, but the problem is this Jose that you're seeing right now. This isn't Inter Milan Jose doing things against Barcelona at the Camp Nou, schooling Pep Guardiola. This is an old man that is just lost his love. I think he lost the love for football.
I'm telling you, he's a criminal. He hates football. I'm telling you, he hates it.
Lots of Spurs fans.
He's a great pundit, though.
Rome says, Chloe here with another super chat. He says, Southgate has been watching the situation and might well have a word with Kane's ear. I want our best national striker to be involved in a team that deserves him. Young Mason is evolving at a rapid pace. And do you know what? That's a very good statement, Chloe. And aside from that, the reason why I think the England team has been doing better is the vast majority of the national sides in the UK, the club teams in the UK have started to play ball in recent years. And I always used to defend Wayne Rooney in an England shirt because Man United, for me, over the years, hasn't been very many Arsenal players in the era that were playing for England. And the reason I say that, Chelsea had a lot of England players, but they played their brand of football. But you said, why don't Rooney play for England like he does United? And my answer was always, well, man, England back then didn't play football like Man United. Man United's football was better than England's football my whole life. Now we're starting to play a bit more ball. But Harry Kane's going to be hindered if he's playing for a manager like Jose, playing Jose style of football. He's going to be playing dead football, doing a lot of running around cones, doing a lot of tracking back and defending all week. He's going to move into the England squad. Then it's going to be all nice, intricate, one-touch football and play, loads of movements, loads of triangles. How is he going to adapt? So I don't want Kane to go to a rival, but if he's time for City tomorrow, from a national point of view, I'd be happy. At least then I know he's going to play some ball and he's going to improve. You're absolutely right, Chloe, when you say that. Sorry, Unknown Driller back with Super Chat says, what you mean, Terry? I know what you mean, Terry, but if Jose wins the Europa or League Cup here, he'll be a legend. Your standards are different.
You're not going to be in Europa League next season, so you can't even win it.
I understand that point. That the standards are lower. But that's my biggest argument with Tottenham fans. Tottenham have the
Don't drop your standards.
It's not about dropping your standards. It's raise them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have the money to be dining, and they had their feet under the elite level table, brother. And for me, once you have that taste of the good life, you strive to keep it. I don't understand. I've done all right for myself in the last couple of years. A few things have come off for me. It's made. I'm not now sitting my feet under the table. It's fine. I ate in a few nice restaurants and I bought a house. Now it's like, right, what's the next level for my family? What's the next level for my children and hopefully their children? It's a bigger motivator. Tottenham fans keep striving to get better. Don't just think, got to a Champions League final. We made it. That for me is the weakness that will hold you back. That is the weakness. That's where Arsenal started going wrong 20 years ago. Celebrating top 4 on a regular. Now, from where you are now, celebrate if you make top 4 this year because it's progression. But if Man United make top 4, top 3 this season and we keep playing well, next year, that becomes a prerequisite of my expectations. It won't be celebrated if we just scrape in and make it. That's standards for me, bro. Sorry, one more super chat we have here from Nathaniel, who says Kane has 9 goals in 13 games under Jose. Shush form.
That's going to paper over the craps. Over the craps.
That's what it is, though. So,
but with that one Chloe, she had a good point about how we're talking about Kane and Greenwood or whoever. Look at what happened to Martial on the French team. Should Martial not have been part of that French team over Olivier Giroud, or even just there alongside
Gignac? Yeah,
he is better. He is much better than Thomas Lamar, and Lamar.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's because of the way he was playing for his club and everything that went wrong. And look, Harry Kane's a star man there, but don't put it past Jose to go and sign a Lukaku. It won't be Lukaku. And then trust me, Tottenham fans, nothing is beyond that man. And I get that he's got 9 goals in 13 games. However, you go back and look at those games again as an example, and there was a brace in a really good victory, against Burnley as an example. There was a brace, I think, against Olympiacos in a really good game under Jose. There was 1 goal in the 3-2 wait, that's 5 of those goals. His goal against Sheffield United, yes, a goal, but look at the performance of your team. The game to West Ham, most Spurs fans fell asleep. He got a goal at the end when West Ham threw everybody forward and they broke away. They didn't create a man a chance. You go back to so many of his games, he's living on scraps. And he'll still score you 20 plus goals a season. But it'll be scrappy little goals where if you are delivering the ball into the box in the right way, if you're creating opportunities in games, if you're feeding the GOAT, he'll score because he's that good. But you're not doing it. Tonight, what opportunity did you create for him? When he played Man United the other day, I don't think he had a shot. He didn't have a shot, bro.
Imagine Bruno giving him balls to him or Trent Alexander-Arnold crossing it into him. Amount of goals that you'll have with these kind of players, bro. That's scary.
There are bitter United fans who can't accept the Porto game in 2004 when Jose ran.
No, mate, we're actually trying to help you, bro. Bro, we're trying to help you, fam.
That was an eternity ago.
I am a Jose antibody. I'm trying to free your mind from the virus that is Jose, fam. He's got you under the spell right now. But there'll be a moment. For me, it was Sevilla against United at Old Trafford. That moment where you're like, rah, this guy is finished. When it happens to you, trust me, bro, you'll be happy, fam. You'll be free. Jose antibody.
That Sevilla team got handed the D's nuts against Bayern Munich, who wasn't even a great Bayern Munich side as well.
We'll talk about that again. Oh, that's amazing.
I'm telling you, man, we're trying to help you, Nathaniel. Don't worry about that. Free counseling sessions right here. It's okay.
I need opinions back with us.
Oh shit! Let's also
there's this notion I've seen that Mourinho's a serial winner. He's not, and I'll tell you why. He's had a good run at Porto where he's won, I think, a Champions League. The only time you can tell me Mourinho was a serial winner, like not even a serial winner, a really world-class manager, was 1 year at Inter. And then you look at his Madrid spell, he continuously lost battles to Barcelona, had one season where he actually won the league, and then did not win the Champions League, didn't even reach Champions League final. He then went to Chelsea, bummed it in his first season. He got knocked out of Champions League in the quarterfinals. Second season, won the league.
Semis against Atleti. But even then, that was disgusting. Yeah.
Even then, he lost. Even then, yeah. And then you go to the season after. He won the league in a league that wasn't really challenging, competitive at that time. And then the season after, he gets bumped around. He gets sacked. He has a little patch. He goes to United. You know what happened to United? He won trophies that were relevant in terms of United status. Trophies that didn't mean nothing to them. And then he comes here. So he's convinced fans he's a serial winner when he isn't. He's picked up a few major trophies along the way. He's not Pep Guardiola, where he's won and dominated the league again and again and again. So this notion, I think, fair enough to him. He's convinced fans that he is a serial winner when he's not. To me, I'm sorry. And if you look at what I've just said right now, he can't.
I do hear that, Chloe. I'm not sure if it's right. Yeah, Mason Greenwood with them 15 goals is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Jerome came back with another super chat. He says Kane under Poch has 30 goals over 2 seasons. So what if he had 9 for Jose? Who cares? He had 0 shots tonight. Do you know what's mad? Like since he's returned, right? So he had two shots tonight, Harry Kane. I'm not sure how many of them were on target. I don't remember none on target. I don't remember him having any gilt-edged chances. He didn't have any gilt-edged chances against Manchester United. There's just nothing for him, and the team just isn't creating enough opportunities and goals, and they're going to go backwards. I've got a couple more super chats again here. This is from Ghostwriter. It says an attacking manager shouldn't be judged by goals. It should be judged by creating chances. That's where fans go wrong. Goals are irrelevant. Well, goals are relevant because you've got to finish them. But I hear what you're saying. If Spurs were creating, what did they check? This is Spurs at home tonight against a dead Everton team, right? They created just 6 chances to score tonight. Just 6 chances to score. Which is, by the way, Everton 5. Look how bad they were. You know, if we go back, I'm going to go look at some of Tottenham's recent games since returning, right? And I don't want to hear this excuse of like just returning from everything else that's going on, right? We'll just look at we'll look at all 4 of their games since returning. Yeah. So against Sheffield United.
Oh, that was disgusting.
They had just 9 shots. Harry Kane did score one of them at the end, but they only created how many opportunities? Only 7 chances created in that game against Sheffield United. We look at the West Ham game as an example. A little bit better. They had 15 shots that night. Harry Kane did have 6, but he scored 1. But only one of them was considered what they call a big opportunity. That was the one at the end, like a big chance. And they created 12 chances in that game, which is a lot better. You go back to the Man United game. Now, the only time they've played a class team, 10 shots in that game, only one of them by Harry Kane. And how many big chances they create in that game? 2. They have created, they'll give them an average of about 5 chances created per game since the return of the league. That is ridiculously.
Terry, do not be surprised if Josie wins against Arsenal at the end of the weekend. Please don't be surprised, because he'll do this thing where he has a stinky run of games and he'll win a game and convince fans he can carry on for a bit. I've said it before somewhere else. I say it now. He's probably going to outlast Kane. And if Kane has a future and wants to have some success in his life, he will leave the club right now. I love that guy to death, but he knows he's fighting a lost battle staying at this club right now. I'm sorry. He needs to leave.
Nathaniel here again says, Jose lives rent-free in all your tiny heads. Keep crying whilst he keeps winning whilst winning. Elite opinions, listen to me. You should have respect for 25 trophy winner. It's not Nathaniel. Sorry, go on. I'll let Elite speak in a minute. It's not about respecting what he's done. I respect his history, but just because he was good then doesn't mean he's good now. You know, and that's, by the way, this is how you know. You know, there was all those years of people saying he was better than Fergie. It's how you know he isn't, because most managers don't last the test of time. They get to a certain age and it stops working for them. It's as simple as that. Jerome here, win games and 3 points. I think he's calling out the ghostwriter who said that goals don't mean anything. Chloe back on another super chat. She says, main problem is they lost Ericsson. I mean, yeah, losing Ericsson is a massive loss. But David's with us now as well. David, quickly give us your opinion. We've got 4 minutes left of this show. I only was meant to come on for 20 minutes. We've been on for an hour now.
It was honestly, fam, I had to get a pillow to watch that game. It was that bad. It was so bad.
You know what? Yeah, I feel for you, Elite, because it's actually your birthday today.
Happy
birthday!
It's your birthday.
It's your birthday.
Look at that birthday.
I just wanted to see some good fluid football one day. That's all I asked.
Yeah, you ain't getting that with Jose, fam.
Well, look, it's just though, you got laid on your birthday. You got fucked by Jose tonight, so it's all good, bro.
I'm telling you, that goal at the end, the goal is just so bad.
Got a comment for you here, Elite. Who would you want to be your manager as a Tottenham fan?
I'm on my knees for Nagelsmann. I'm on my knees for him. I'm sorry.
What about me and KJ suggested this? What about Erik ten Hag, the Ajax manager?
I don't think he's gonna come. If he does come, brilliant. But my first choice is Nagelsmann. Oh my god, what I would do for Nagelsmann.
Here's the thing about Nagelsmann, yeah. Here's the thing. His contract at Leipzig is long, you know, and what they're planning to do is take over Germany. So I don't think he's willing to
No. I don't think so. I think Klopp will be taking over Germany before Nagelsmann, because you know Klopp is a proper nationalist. So
no, wait.
Leipzig.
Talking about RB's Leipzig manager. Like, he turned not taking a German national team. I mean,
Leipzig want to take over. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know though. The problem RB have as a brand is they're still a selling club. So if you know, the problem they've got, the reason that they won't keep on, I think that's another 10 years away. And the reason I say that is this: at the moment they're only able to sign a lot of the players they get at both Salzburg and at Leipzig, because they have a lot of their players have these buyout clauses or these contracted agreements to be able to leave, so they can't hold on to a lot of their. You think about the players. If you look at both the Salzburg brands as an example, they really and truly should have Naby Keita in the middle with a strike partnership of Werner and Haaland.
Joshua Kimmich. They sold Joshua Kimmich.
So until they stop selling their top players, they won't keep their top managers either, because. That's the same issue Dortmund have got. Dortmund will never become. They'll win some big trophies over the next 20 years.
They'll never ever be bigger than Bayern.
They'll never be a Barca. They'll never be a Bayern. They'll never be a United. They'll never be a Liverpool. They'll never be not quite Chelsea. Chelsea not in that bracket yet. That level, because they never keep hold of the team long enough. And that's the one thing that annoys me about Tottenham as well. Daniel Levy and the man, because they got to a point where they stopped selling their best players. And I remember for a couple of years, the first couple of years, they started looking good. I was like, yeah, but Modric, Carrick, Berba, it's all going to happen again. And it didn't. And I thought, now that's a dangerous sign when they stop selling players. But then that's only because the TV money was there. James here says, what about Big Sam?
100% record for England.
Hey, Big Sam. I rate Big Sam. Big Sam, they're still living rent-free. Mourinho that game.
Yeah, I remember that interview. Yeah.
Unknown Driller, I'm convinced you don't like football, bro, because clearly you don't like to watch entertaining football, so you don't like football.
All I'm saying,
if
Mourinho doesn't win a trophy at Tottenham, his whole thing is just he's
His
useless.
legs, everything that was remembered, Inter Milan, Porto, is gone. It's gone.
Not even that. It's just that everyone was like, no matter what happens here, we're going to bring in Jose. No matter how good the football is, we're going to win a trophy. If he doesn't win a trophy, which right now is looking very unlikely, suddenly they've just undone so many years of good work with Jose football. Like the fact that they've had to go from Poch football to Jose football is such a transition anyway that the bounce that they were going to have was going to be very minimal. If they keep going down this route, if they want to go back to being known as that club who plays champagne football, they've now got to go back and do this process again. So then they're just in a really sticky spot.
Comment here.
Oh my days.
City, Wolves, Druids United, Elite. You are so clueless about his big.
This guy is what gets on my nerves. You know, people like this get on my nerves. When I see dumb fans like this, bro, what do you want? What do you expect us to do? Do you want to just keep lying around 7th, 8th? Do you not want to move on with your life? Like, I'm sorry, but if you're just gonna keep relying on signing, at some point, somebody's dead signing have to actually play football. You work with what you've got. Somehow you've got to build patterns of play. You've got to actually move like a team. When you're talking about all this shit about, oh, we get one attack, we get a lucky fluke goal. How are you happy with that? I'm sorry. You can't be a fan if you're happy with one fluke goal and just getting a boring game in a new stadium, a stadium we expect to play beautiful football. You're playing 1-2s with your back line. Most of the play I saw was the defensive back line.
I hear what you're saying there, bro. I hear what you're saying there. I really, really do. Let's add a bit of flavor to the stream here. Safe's in the house. Safe, put your camera on, bro, please. We need to see your face. It's not that you talking the same about seeing your boat. There it is.
Hi, guys.
There's another super chat here from James who says, how about Mike Bassett? There we go. What do you make of Jose Safe? Do you think he's the right man for Tottenham, or would you sack him?
I'll sack him as a dead man walking, Terry. I mean, I don't know about all of you guys, KJ, Elite Opinion. DT is a famous YouTuber. He plays better football than Jose, and that's a fact.
DTFC plays better football than Spurs. Oh gosh.
Oh crap.
It's true.
It's true though. It's true. It's so
true.
bad. Look at this comment here.
Wait, Terry, let me have it. Read it.
Ollie was playing football without Bruno. Proof quality players determine things. Can you tell that guy, Elite KJ, he's a Martial fanboy at Fraud Watch?
Here we go. One, I was all on Ollie's back when we was playing awful football, yeah? And I was ready to say, I was saying get him out, yeah? 2, yes, we were playing awful football, but Bruno came in because our board actually made an investment and the team is playing better now. And now I can actually see what Ollie's doing, and I kind of semi-believe, yeah? And 3, yes, I'm a Martial fanboy, and what, baby? You know what I'm saying? Martial's better than the half of your players, fam, so don't worry about that, boy. Fraud watch. You're a fraud. You don't even like football, fam.
Doesn't even support Tottenham. There's no way he supports Tottenham if he thinks like that.
Can I just add one thing?
Oh, good, baby. Let's go.
Go on, Safe.
Jose is one of these people that he loves to judge players. That's saying traces play, put pressure on him, pass the ball, shoot 90 degrees. He doesn't allow players to play fluently by themselves. And this will affect players' performance. That's why majority of the players, they don't want to play under Jose. Look at Oli. Oli allows the players to play their own type of football. He doesn't judge Pogba which position to stand, when to pass the ball, when to shoot the ball. He just allows them to play fluent football. And if you go to any organization, I'm telling you right now, if you have a manager that's sitting on your head and telling you how to send an email, where to put a full stop, where to put a capital letter, you're going to kick off.
Sound like you do. Mate, I hear you on that one. Safe. Listen, bro, thank you very much for coming on, having your say. As always, bro, really appreciate it. Jerome here, super.
Terry, I've never, ever in my life, like when watching Tottenham, I've never, ever, like, not wanted to watch another match, the next match day.
Welcome. I told you, Elliot, what did I tell you earlier today? I told you.
I knew.
Sorry, mate. Well, this super chat says these kind of fans what pisses me right off, as they are okay with mediocrity.
See? Exactly, that fans like that are just happy just to win. I'm sorry. At a certain point,
Driller, you're getting called out, bruv. You're getting called out, unknown Driller.
You're not going to keep winning 1-0
tonight. No, where is Zane? I thought Zane would be here loving this, even though they won. So maybe that's why he's not here. But yeah.
And then I look like Andros Townsend, by the way.
With a midfield, with a midfield of the potential midfield of Ndombele Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Ali. That you should be playing good football. You should
Bro,
you should at least
Allow
be
Ali,
creating
bro.
those.
Allow Ali.
Bro,
Don't mention Ali.
David, he won't let them play good football. I'm telling you right. You can have Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar. He won't let them play good football.
He's
Comment here, boys. A little comment here. It says, who will win a title first?
Ole.
Ollie.
I don't think either of them will. But
Ole.
Ollie's at the wheel. I
Yeah,
see
Terry,
what
stop that.
Terry, more.
keep sticking it.
Look, and Terry, it's not because Ole is tactically a better manager than Mourinho or something. It's because he lets his team express football. This guy, he's meant to be a defensive coach, right? His defense is even worse than his attack.
So the problem with Unknown Driller's opinion is that Spurs have ballers. So if you look at Son as an example, Dele Alli, or I think is one of them, Harry Kane, how good he is. If you look at even like the Lamellas and the Moras of this world, Bergwijns, they're all better than the Pereiras and the Lingards that were in Bruno's position before he came in. Like they're all better than those guys. If somebody said to me like 6 months ago, look, listen, we'll do a swap deal, Pereira and Lingard for Bergwijn and Mora.
Bite your hand off.
Yes, bruv.
Bite your hand off for that.
Every single day of the week, and that's the whole point. Like, so I get where it's coming from. His point, but it doesn't stack up. Spurs have got. They do need. They've got Davinson Sanchez at the back, right? Yeah, okay. They need a new right back. They do, right? They need a new right back. But they've got Davinson Sanchez. They've got Hugo Lloris. They've got some decent cut centre backs in Toby and Vertonghen that should be playing, in my opinion. Midfield, Winks. I wouldn't say he's a world class, but he's a very good player as an example. They've got Ndombele that's class. He doesn't want to play. As an example, Sissoko is a good football player. You've got Son, who's one of the best left-sided attacking players in the Premier League, if not Europe, and is now 40. And some Tottenham fans think he can change his form. I hear you on that, bro. I definitely hear you on that one. Beats is back again. Beats box Dre Beats says, stop taking this channel seriously after you said Arteta.
Sprinkle it some more. You're paying money to say that. You're giving the channel money to say that.
How can I be a United fanboy when I support Chelsea? Makes no sense, literally.
I never, by the way, I never said that he was clueless. I asked whether he was going to be a good enough manager. I didn't say that he was a clueless manager. And do you know what's interesting? I said his system wasn't working. And what's he done since that game? He's gone to a 4-3-3 now. When they're out of possession, the two wide players drop into a midfield area to counteract the fact that the midfield isn't strong enough to dominate by itself. So I praise that because he changed it. And it's like anything in life. I can criticize something. If you go and change it and make it better, I'm cool. You know, if someone comes to clean my car, or I take my car to a car wash and they clean it, I'm like, it really isn't a good car wash, mate. Oh, look, bring it back. We'll redo it again. If they redo it again and it's brilliant, I'll say, that's a good car wash, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. There's another one actually from that guy. He says, not going to lie, you've spent the whole show talking about Jose Mourinho badly. Then when he's won a football match.
It's about how, bro. It's about how
he's winning the match. It's Everton. You're expected to win that match.
It's about how, bro.
It's the fact that Everton walk away from that match thinking, how have we lost?
They didn't attack as well.
Change your flavour here. Change your flavour. I said, Everton fan here. Do you consider Everton a big club? Also, do you think Ancelotti can bring silverware to Everton after 25-year dry spell?
Everton they're just like that club that's like they're just out. If you had like a tier list, they'd just be they'd be almost there but not quite.
If I could say as a Liverpool fan, I've always thought of Everton as a small club because they always.
No, they're not a small club. They're a decent club.
No, they'll always be a small club compared to our clubs because they always look at Liverpool and always try to pip them in one way or another.
That's rivalry, though.
But that derby
is not a derby. That derby is not a derby.
What I say about Everton, I think Everton are a big club. But this is terminology. I look at Everton and Tottenham; they're big clubs. What they're not are Arsenal's, Liverpool's, Man United's.
Exactly.
Chelsea are now moving into it, where you're a gigantic club. And
we're better than Arsenal. We're better.
I'm talking about the size of your football club. I don't care about the football. I'm talking about the size of your. I'm talking about how many millions of fans you have globally. That is the definition of big for me, as an example.
But Ancelotti can do bits at your club.
And Ancelotti, actually, look at Ancelotti. His team are dead at the moment. But do you see? He gets annoyed. But do you see him kicking off? Do you know why? I know it feels like he's been there a long time, but he's still in his first. He hasn't had a summer or two yet. Ancelotti will be clearing out so many of these men tonight. He'll be getting rid of so many of these players, but he keeps his cool. There's no point in him losing energy when it isn't his fault. You know,
Terry,
and that's
Terry, you know what makes me so worried? We have, if you think about it, if you would say on paper we have a better starting 11 than Everton, right? But then he's been here at a shorter time than Mourinho, and you can already tell what kind of football he wants to play. 4-4-2. He wants to kill. He wants to dead the game as soon as he gets. You can tell what kind of football he wants to play. I still don't know what football Mourinho wants to play.
And that's because
So commenting from Chloe says, I'm a United fan, but I just want to see attacking football. That's United, Spurs, West Ham, entertainment, history. Chloe, Chloe knows her football.
Chloe laying it down for the man, man.
100%.
Jeez.
By the way, boys, what you think? I went extra low on the cut today. What do you reckon? I went extra low.
I love it.
You had
I love it.
I love how Terry's like, oh yeah, he's had a dramatic trip. He's had a dramatic trip.
You know what's funny as well?
This is a little shine.
I was doing it, and I was like, if I go out wearing a bomber jacket now, people aren't going to look at me. Like I have a couple of bomber jackets, quite trendy ones, right? One's from Zara, one's from one's Hugo Boss one. They're nice. But I bet if I went out wearing that now with a pair of blue jeans, people would think I'm National Front, mate. That's
whack on a flat cap for a West Ham fan. Whack on a flat cap for a West Ham fan.
Yeah, we should actually do that outside the ground once. Take a picture of me in an England shirt, my hair like this, drinking a pint, and go around the general public. And what do you see when you see this picture? I guarantee you, 80% of it is negative.
Patrick, man said you're a Peng Don. He said Terry's a Peng Don. Jeez. There you go, fam.
You do realize, bro, I know what those words mean. I might be old, but I'm from East London, bruv. Stefan here says Nangelsmann should succeed Ollie when he finishes his work at United. We can't allow Ragnick to have him at AC Milan. Do you know what? I actually agree with that. I think unless Ollie goes to next levels and starts winning multiple trophies, I think in 18 months' time, that's when I say 18 months because I still feel like we're halfway through this season. But actually, in a year's time, I think we'll know more about Ollie and what he can win for us. And I think maybe then there'll be an opportunity to say, let's move you on from there. Yo, what's up, my guy? Bryant's in the house.
Hey, man.
We're gonna throw CFC Aqua in.
Boys. He's back. Ooh.
A bit of Prime as well. Prime's in the house.
Hey.
In the house. We'll do another 5 minutes. Go on. We'll jump.
Say that it's gonna be another 15.
Brian, what do you want to say, bro?
Oh man, part of me really wants Jose to succeed with Spurs. I don't know if he has it in him anymore. It's weird because Tottenham won the game, but it's like,
Brian's trying to be positive.
Let's change the subject. I was got asked the funniest question I've ever had in my life. Tyrone, I love you, bro, but like this is really a decision. Terry, why did you decide to go bald? Like I could control it. Like I shaved it off because lockdown 2, my hair is thin and you can see at the back like it's going like proper. But because of lockdown, I couldn't get myself. I was booked in to have my hair transplant. It didn't happen, so we have to wait until next year. Then you'll see hairline back, get the comb over back, looking proper sexy again. I have both my double sleeves done by then. Honestly, I'm gonna have a midlife crisis, buy a motorbike, grow my hair back, put some blonde streaks in it. Proper, bruv. There we go. Yeah. CFC Aqua, if I can speak. What's your thoughts on what we've been saying about Jose Mourinho?
I think Mourinho, the biggest problem with him over the past few years is his man management. He showed that at Man United, the whole Paul Pogba situation, and with the Son Lloris, obviously that seemed a lot more aggressive than it should have been, and that's probably something that's been in training and something that's been in the locker room. It's something that obviously Mourinho isn't being able to fix, and I think his man management has got a lot worse over the past few years.
I bet you. So I know you've already been on Prime, but is there anything that's been said on here stood out to you?
With Mourinho, you have to keep in mind he also hasn't had a summer to buy players. And I know whether Levy and stuff will give him money, that's fair. But if he wins a trophy with Spurs, since they haven't won anything in so long, if he wins a trophy with Spurs, what does that mean then?
I don't know. Depends what trophy. I think it depends what trophy. But season is he? He ain't winning one.
But if it's an FA Cup or something like that, if he wins at least a trophy with Spurs, who don't win anything.
Terry, I agree with the guy in the comment that said I would rather get relegated with Poch. I actually agree with him. Sorry.
Man of principle. like
agree
Jerome.
because I think Poch
I
would be
think
outside.
I think
Poch would.
I think I'm just
I think-
thinking of excuses to defend him. Because
I think the
really
true question is, will he retain the Audi Cup? That's the true question.
Yeah, good.
I'm being honest.
At least you admit you're in denial. At least you admit it.
No. I do
No,
know.
he's
I do
finished,
love Mourinho
man.
for what
He's
he did for
finished,
Chelsea. I know he's finished, but I do love him. It's like you're, you're seeing now granddad that's in his
Or
final.
your uncle. You seen our uncle.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. You still have that love for him that you still have to defend him. when he does
Yeah, but Joe's like that. Joe's like, everyone's got a mad uncle. You've got that uncle that's
Uncle at the barbecue that's always sat in the corner. But when you go and talk to him, he's got the maddest stories.
I've always talked about the crazy uncle, and every time I'm around my nieces and nephews, I always hear them talking to their parents, and they're like, "Oh, Uncle Terry's crazy," and I'm like, "I'm the crazy uncle." I never thought, but I want to be the cool uncle. I'm the crazy one. My kid, yeah, they're just like, he's really mad. Only because I nearly drowned one of my nieces the other day in the pool. Well, I say nearly drowned her. I held her head under for like 2 minutes. That's all.
Is she a Spurs fan?
I'm joking.
Is she a Spurs fan?
She was no more than like 3 seconds. She was the oldest one in there, and she was giving it the absolute big one to the little kids. So I just grabbed her and dunked her under, but she didn't have time to go hold her breath. Now I literally pulled her out in 2 seconds, and she ran off crying and she hid in the corner. And she's like, "He nearly killed me. He nearly killed me." And my brother's laughing, and then she's like, "He's crazy. Uncle Terry's crazy." I'm not crazy. I just kids, man. Don't have, don't have kids too young. I was very lucky. I was late 20s when I started having kids. Best time. Chloe back again says, could Jose be being smart and gathering the severance pay?
Jose professional widower. You know them young girls that go after those old man. Professional widower. That's what Jose is,
life
man.
insurance, bruv. Snap. What's that show on TV? It was big in America. It was like called Snapped, Women That Kill. And it was all about every story. It was dedicated. It was on like Discovery Channel. I used to watch it like on Friday and Saturday nights if I got in from a night out. It was always about women who either directly or indirectly killed husbands or boyfriends for insurance payouts. And I can't believe how often in America that's happened. It's like a 10-season deep show, each season with 19 episodes. And some of the stories are mad. This one woman, right? Her husband left her, and she found out the life insurance policies were still in her name. So her and her new boyfriend kidnapped him, took him to like a garage they rented, and melted his body in like a barrel of acid. This can't be real. And that was just one of the stories. So yeah, when I look at Jose, Jose's like, right, I'm in this club now. How do I get the life insurance? I've got to do something.
It's not even that, man. He's so shameless, man. They hurt so bad.
Why are we talking about Spurs possibly winning a trophy? You guys can't see that empty trophy cabinet. Wolves have a better chance of winning more. I agree. What about Nuno Spurs?
Ooh,
Look,
Spurs would be a madness.
I don't know where Wolves are getting this confidence from. Have you not
seen the league table? That's where they're getting it from.
Yeah,
Over the last 2 years, they've been in the top 16.
Yeah.
The last year, we finished above them last year. I don't know where his confidence got from.
Elite, you also had I remember a point where you had a better points tally over 2 seasons than Chelsea and City, and those were the 2 teams that won the league in those 2 years. So
that was Poch. That was with Poch.
Yeah, and now you're in even worse periods. I don't think you really have a right to talk.
I just think somebody
Man's moving like a left-wing activist. You got no right to talk. You know, when trophies, you can't speak.
No, look, I'm sorry. Wolves. I'm sorry, but teams like Wolves and Everton have no right to talk to us. I'm sorry.
No. Elite. No. Here's why Wolves have a right to say something, because they've come into the Premier League and had a plan of action and they're executing it to like.
No, but I'm talking about. No, they're talking about our history and our club. They have no right to stay in our club.
Everton has a right to talk about history compared to
Everton has a better history than.
Who were they? Who were Everton?
They've got more league titles.
Don't you remember that, bro? Jamie Carragher did a puff piece on Howard Kennell's Everton side.
KJ, you've got rinsed in the
This is why I don't think of Spurs as a big club. This is why I don't think of Spurs as a big club.
Spurs, Elite KJ, you got rinsed.
No. Someone keeps calling me Andros Townsend. You're a fan. He's a good-looking dude and has money, so I don't mind that comparison.
And he scored that banger as well. And he scored the banger.
He did score a banger. Yeah.
I remember this is Tottenham fans, but I remember when Elite Andros Townsend was coming through, and they were like, "Oh, he's the next Bale, next Gareth Bale," because he scored a couple of good. He was good for England for about a year as well. That boy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. For a good period.
Hold on now.
And then got a hair transplant.
Isn't everybody good for England for a period though?
See, that's
What
what
do you
makes me. That what makes me worry about you got the next 5 years or so, because you have the likes of Greenwood and Hudson-Odoi and Foden and all that. But
Don't
nothing's
say
gonna happen.
Hudson-Odoi in the
No,
same.
my point.
Bro,
my
Curtis
point-
Jones, man. Curtis Jones.
My point
Curtis
is,
Jones.
my point is, you have all this talent. My point is, you have all this talent.
My
Bruv,
bad.
The point is, you have all this
that's a
talent.
Range Rover versus a Suzuki Jeep. Don't do it.
Hey, relax,
Curtis
relax,
Jones,
boys. Okay,
man.
my guy's silky.
You know
He's
what I mean?
silky.
You know what I
Sorry,
mean,
my
bro?
point is, nothing's gonna happen. You're not gonna win anything.
That's Timberland boots versus Wellington boots. Let's not do
Okay,
it.
that's all. No, that's all fair. We're any good, but you're not gonna win anything though.
You
You're
ain't
not gonna win
Man
anything.
United.
Sorry, but Terry,
No,
that
no,
one
no,
that
hang on.
much in the
Hang on, whoa, whoa. We're knocking
England.
you out in the FA Cup in just over a week, bruv.
No,
You
no,
ain't-
no.
He's talking about England. He's talking about England, fam.
He's talking about
England?
England.
What do
That's
you
what
mean
I'm talking
we're
about.
not winning anything? How do you know this?
Because
I can't
He's
even
Irish.
in your history, it's too, no. I don't Ireland. I don't back Ireland for international tournaments. I
No,
watch
wait, who do you
England.
back?
I watch Ireland for international tournaments.
Who you
You
back?
back
No,
USA
Ireland,
then?
I watch Nigeria. No,
Who do you
Nigeria.
support then? Who do you
Ireland.
support?
Nigeria.
Wait, Super Eagles. Super
The,
Eagles. I
kit, the
respect
kits
that.
are wavy. The kits are wavy. The kits are
Okay.
wavy. The kits are wavy.
Yeah, that no. My point is that
Terry-
you guys, you have all these quality players, but like it always seems that in tournaments you always seem to fail, especially when you have pressure on you. And in your last two tournaments, your last two tournaments, though, there was no pressure. There was no pressure on you in the last. Was it what World Cup or something? There's no pressure on you in that tournament. Now there's going to
Actually,
be pressure
talking
on
about
you.
pressure. Chat to me about that game against Argentina, bro, with Nigeria, fam. What I go on with that, bro? They could. They should have
No,
won
no,
that game.
Yeah, Nigeria are bad. What am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? I'm not gassing up Nigeria.
I'm not guessing.
No, look, there's
You started just attacking my
there are
country.
certain
Your early opinions, you said you wanted some.
like countries like Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, they need to know their place. Then they're always going to be scrub countries in terms of
I've
international.
never-
Whoa! He's back. He's back. He's back.
Ireland would still beat Spurs right now. So
I don't.
Call them
Look,
bums.
look, look.
Elite, call them bums again.
Ireland would still beat Spurs.
I can't remember the last time Ireland did something.
Ireland
of
are
any
cool.
scale.
Wales are all right. Scotland, you got a point. Scotland have been trash for years.
no.
Super chat here it says a message to Elite.
Opinions.
Here we go.
Don't talk about our history when we have more league titles than you. Also, we beat you at Spurs 2 years in a row. Ha 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 ha.
You mean more Division 2 titles? Yeah, you mean more Division 2 titles.
There we go.
Wait,
Thank-
bro, they went down all the way to League One, came back up, and still look better than you, man. Jeez.
Man just did the equivalent of Mourinho shouting out reporters. Respect. Respect.
Look. Yeah. If you talk about international trophies, international clubs, teams. Sorry, no one in UK comes close to England.
Yeah,
Like I
we're
mean,
all
generally.
dead. Because we're all dead, fam. It's not
Because
hard.
we're all dead.
But it's like it doesn't matter though.
Honestly, I've never if there's one country in UK I don't like, it's Ireland. I'm sorry, I just don't like Ireland.
Whoa, where's this come from? You're xenophobe.
Wait, you don't like the international team or the country?
Yeah, the international team is just such a dirty team. The way they play football, man.
Bruv, you do realize you're chatting here. Like I'm not, but my son's Irish. You know that. Like he's
No, I've got nothing against Ireland as a country. They're a normal country. They're
No,
not
no,
the international
Tell
team.
you what, I'll stripe you up, son. I'll stripe.
No.
Hey, you know the reason why we play like that? As a
And by
country?
the way, sorry, I was really sorry, Prime. You know Ireland isn't in the UK, right?
Yeah, I was about to say. They're not in the UK.
No, you know what I mean? Northern Ireland. Yeah, I'm in Northern Ireland.
Do you know the reason why Ireland play like that? Have you seen the sports that we play? Hurling and Gaelic.
Hey,
Wow.
those sports bang. I've watched them. They're low key. They bang low key.
No, but they just. You know what? No, Gaelic football. I saw Gaelic football the other day. What kind of sport is that? You just pick up the ball.
Trust me. When it comes to both the Irish sports, hurling and Gaelic football, hurling especially, that is a brutal sport. You play that, bro. I'm telling you, you're going home crying.
That is skilled though. It is skilled.
nation sport, man.
You know
Come on,
what
that's out of order.
I-
Seriously, that is out of order. Attacking a nation sport like that, you probably don't even know the rules for.
Oh, come
Yo,
on.
I see Bright in the corner there, hoping not to catch smoke. He's getting some. Well, go on for your country at football, fam.
Your country
what?
calls football soccer.
Wait,
Hey, we no. I mean, we can have this conversation right now. Go.
Yo,
We
let's
can,
go, bro.
I've got a bigger question. One thing about American sport, by the way, we can attack America. It's absolutely everyone's fine with that, right?
yeah,
America
totally, it's
annoys
fine.
me. One thing about America annoys me, whether it's I'm going to call it the real name, ice hockey, whether it's funny rugby or whether it's bamboo or baseball.
Yeah.
I mean,
How
Terry.
How can you be world champions when you only beat teams in America? America is
Canada.
so
I don't make
Terry. You know,
I don't make the rules.
I mean, Terry. Look. You know your sport's finished when your women's team are doing better than your men's team. You know that's when it's finished.
Ooh.
The sexism. The sexism. Oh, God.
Okay, no. Wait. What about English football? No, wait, guys. What about English football? Because the women's team and the men's team are basically the same.
They're basically the
If
same,
Elite
yeah.
had followers, he'd be
No,
camping
they're
right now.
not.
I'm just saying. If Elite had followers, he'd be
No,
Elite
camping.
Jamaican. Yes, I am, fam. Let's go,
Isn't the
bro.
Spurs women's team better than the Spurs men's team?
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, here we
they
go.
are.
Here we go. Look, so let him go away from that rubbish.
Look, man.
Look,
I don't even care
No, look,
how well.
In defense of the
No, I'm
US,
not
though, if you guys focus as much on football as you did on all your
No,
other
look, Brian. I have nothing against America as a country, yeah. Look, Brian, I have nothing against America as a country. It's just that they're when it comes to sport, in football in particular, they're just bums like Ireland.
well.
Elite, what's your
Hey,
no,
bro,
Elite,
sport in the
sport.
Olympics, they trash us. In the
Yeah,
Olympics,
bro.
they smack us, man.
I think like you can say that about football.
Ooh.
America produces some of the best athletes in the world. So
Elite,
You
Elite,
play in
what's
the
your international-
NFL. If you play in the
what's your
NFL,
international
you're
team?
an athlete. You're an athlete if you're in that sport.
That's
Elite,
true,
what's your
that's true.
international team? Your international country. What's your international team? Your international country that you support, like an international
What
tournament.
do you mean?
What
Who do you-
countries?
What do you
What
mean?
country do
World
you
Cup.
support?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Like at a World Cup, what is your country? Who do you support at a World Cup or international tournaments?
No, I'm Israeli and Eritreans, but I just support England.
Okay, so you don't really have a right to speak then. But Ireland and America.
No, look, I support England.
I love
support
Brian.
England.
Brian is like your
Sorry.
fam. You don't have a right to
Dude,
speak,
man.
Shut up.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
But, like,
do you
at
guys
least-
remember?
That's my point.
You guys remember in the World Cup whenever the United States and England were in the group stage together? You guys had Rob
no.
Green in goal, and he cost you that game against us.
Oh,
No,
yo,
Brian,
why would you
you
bring
are
that
so
up,
happy.
man?
I'm paying for that one. That wasn't even the worst of it. When we played against Algeria a week later, that
That was bad.
I need that
But,
art.
yeah,
Right.
but then the United States went and didn't even qualify for the World Cup, so we
I
can't
got
even.
vexed
we can't talk very much,
after
you
that
know.
2010 World Cup game. I got
When Costa
vexed.
Rica came and battered us, oh my god!
Oh, you remember when
Terry, I
Julian
was in a
Green
group
was
chat
gonna be the
earlier
next big
today.
thing?
Terry, I was in a group chat earlier today, yeah?
What do you do? That
Yo,
man.
Oh man, Freddie Adu, he was really good when he was 16.
Or a football manager king, fam. My championship
Straight
manager.
away when he was 15 and he turned into like he won World Player of the Year at 18. He was the man. But yeah, boys, I appreciate you all coming on. Elite Opinions, you need to go get woke, brother.
Lucy Galbraith came for you, fam, in the comments. So you need to apologize. to her,
What did you
fam.
say? What did you say? What did you say?
Man. Lucy done you
What did
dirty.
you say?
I ain't gonna repeat
What did
what
she
she
say?
said.
Listen, you can put all them-
I just saw
See,
it.
I did.
Yes, Lucy.
Right,
Right,
so,
fam.
Done you, bro.
Mate,
Happy
he's gonna have you
birthday.
for breakfast. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Look, she
MLS.
can cry all she wants in the comment section. Look, she can cry all she wants in the comment section, man. I'm enjoying a nice time, man. She can cry.
Hey,
all she wants.
Elite, there's gonna be one day she comes on the show.
Yeah,
she's
one
gonna
of
come
these
on the
days,
show.
one of these
She's gonna
days you're gonna ring.
school you.
She's gonna ring the. She's gonna ring the show.
MLS is where elephants go to die.
What do you have against women?
I mean,
I know what he has-
Terry,
I know
I will always say
I know what he has against women. He's never had one.
No.
Yeah, remember, he just
No,
turned
well,
old
well,
enough
well,
to even chat to girls. Remember that? So
Exactly.
like,
No, look. I'm just here to just provide the truth. I mean, I will always have the, I will always have the opinion. I will always have the opinion that women's football doesn't deserve to be even watched at this point. It's just such a fun sport.
Wow.
Man, I want to make it clear. I want to make it clear.
That's all well and good.
Lucy,
You didn't answer my
Man's
question.
getting cancelled. He's getting cancelled.
Lucy,
boys.
please
He's getting
come for
cancelled.
I'm not
him.
getting cancelled. I'm not getting cancelled. She can cry
You're
what she
getting-
wants in the comment section. She can chill there.
Lucy,
Ali
come
is
on.
getting
Lucy,
cancelled.
come on.
Wow. That hurt.
She can cry what she wants in the comment section,
That
man. I'm just
hurts.
saying, English
Hey,
women.
Terry, if Lucy comes on, get rid of all of us. Her versus Elite. I swear, please. That's
Come on,
You
mate.
wanna go-
Look, I have to call this out. What fucking shit are you talking? Doesn't deserve to be watched. What? If you don't like it, that's
Look,
your
I'm
right.
sorry.
You're allowed to
I'm
have
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry. The other day, I saw a woman pick up the ball on the 6-yard box
Oh my
when playing
lord!
football.
A woman picked up a football. Oh my gosh!
No, I'm sorry.
Bruv, do you know what I saw
Look,
tonight?
look,
Do you know what I saw tonight? Do you know what I saw tonight? I saw an England international defender kick the ball into his own goal. Oh my god! Oh my god! The other day, you know what I saw? I saw the most expensive defender in English football history get nutmegged.
look,
Oh my god! Oh my god! Do you realize men make mistakes in football as well? You know.
No, look, it's not like that. The
Yes,
quality
Chloe.
is like.
No way.
Censor him and drop the money as well.
Is she here? Is she here?
No, she sent money in to just clap you, fam.
Luke,
No,
Chloe,
she can
just
cry.
come on,
She
just
can
come
cry all she wants. Yeah, I couldn't care less about her. I'm talking about women's.
No, Elite. If your argument was it's not as good as quality as the men's game, no one would be saying it. It's just because you said it doesn't deserve to be. That's when it's
too
different.
far.
Yeah,
No,
you
but
said
it
it
does,
doesn't
like-
deserve to be watched.
Yeah, I didn't say it as a whole. It's like the
Thank you. Whoever did that, thank you, bro.
He
Thank
locked
you, man.
himself off, man. Do you know what, Ali? I generally like you, but I can't endorse those kind of opinions. You are no Echo Chambers. You can say what you want, but you've got to face the wrath now, bro. I mean, that's why man don't show his face. I think.
Terry, Denise Terry in the chat says you need to get Gold Digger against him.
Oh, the girls will eat him alive.
That's unfair. Don't do that to the boy. Don't do that to the
Elite just
boy.
wash his mouth out with the toilet.
No, she was actually meant to be on the show yesterday. And she had a, I'm not going to say what's going on, but she had something happen in her personal life and she's not been able to. But yeah, she would have destroyed him. Sophie Richo, she'd have absolutely destroyed him. We had Megan on here before. Listen, they'd all kill him for it. Do you know what I mean? And
Bring Pippa.
Bro, do you know what the thing is? Women know their stuff.
I know Pippa quite well, and yeah, she'd kill him for that. And the thing with it is, it doesn't even need to be a woman to come on there to defend women's football. I admit I don't watch it. Equally, I don't watch anything outside the Premier League. It's purely a time factor. I don't have the time to. But I watch the international tournaments, and it's different. It is different to the men's game because it isn't as fast and it isn't as powerful, I would say. You don't get the same flair points and stuff, but it's got different elements to it. And it's like with any sport. I actually it's just one of them things. But I hate that kind of opinion, that view of it's trash. We shouldn't watch it. Well, if you don't like
international football as a whole, though, like
as
when
a
you
whole,
watch
what crazy
the Men's World Cup, anyway, international football is completely different from like league football, anyway. So
yeah.
It's an absolute madness. It really, really is. But boys, listen, I appreciate you all coming on. All the super chats. Thank you. I was only meant to come on for 20 minutes. It's been an hour and 33.
He said 5 minutes, 20 minutes ago.
I got stamina. Do you know what I mean? Stamina. Still at my old age, been bald head. Bit of stamina. Do you know what I mean? Ain't wrong being bald, is there, Brian? It's all good.
Jonathan, I want to talk about the Reggae Boys. But I ain't got the time. One of the comments asking me about the Reggae Boys, the Jamaican national team. But we ain't got time. I'm sorry.
I thought Elite had lost his mind. A few people were asking if you were Jamaican, actually, in the comments.
Yeah.
I think you said the other day. I forget.
Yeah.
I forget. Listen, everyone who tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.